Yesterday, we saw the 1.19 update go live for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and overall it was an update that brought a ton of new features to the game across all modes. We got the brand new contract system, which gives players additional ways to earn more reserves and XP in-game. We saw Hacienda Twilight introduced over in multiplayer. Blackout got DLC weapons in a very controversial way through Blackjack stashes, alongside the new Humiliation feature and the Sentry turret equipment, and Zombies also got hard mode gauntlets and the first ever DLC 3 teaser. However, all of that was just the face value stuff. Also included in the 1.19 update, we saw a brand new weapon tuning update for multiplayer in specific that was teased as being an absolutely huge update, specifically revolving around the current state of SMGs. So today we're breaking down what really changed in the new weapon tuning update here in Black Ops 4. What's up guys, Zachar Immortal here, welcome back to the channel, and as always, thanks for stopping by. With Operation 5 coming up here in just a few weeks, and Modern Warfare's multiplayer reveal right around the corner, the world of Call of Duty is going to have a lot of exciting things happening in the coming days, weeks, and months. So if you do want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when a new video goes live. And of course, if you guys do enjoy this one, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into the brand new weapon tuning update here in BO4. Now, right off the bat, the biggest thing that was changed in this new update was the ballistic profiles for the SMGs to allow them to better compete with the assault rifles in the game. As I'm sure you guys probably know, Black Ops 4 is by far an assault rifle dominant game, with the Maddox probably leading the way as most players' #1 choice for its versatility and ability to outgun most SMGs, even in close range engagements thanks to attachments like Quick Draw 1 and 2. Then you also have weapons like the ICR, which is an absolute laser beam with pretty much zero recoil, and you've also got the KN-57 and the Rampart, which each pack a powerful punch as well. Whereas with the SMGs, your primary choice is probably going to be the SOG most times, which is definitely a solid gun, but it can also be a hit marker machine unless you are up close, and most of the other SMGs out there seem to particularly struggle unless you are face to face with an enemy as well. So what exactly changed with the ballistic profiles of the SMGs we have now? Well, prior to the 1.19 update going live, the SMGs ran off of a more realistic ballistic profile, meaning you would actually have to account for bullet travel time and bullet drop when aiming at an enemy. However, this had a very minuscule effect on multiplayer gameplay. The same mechanics are of course used over in Blackout though, where you do have to lead your bullets to hit a target that is moving, and you have to account for bullet drop when shooting at enemies at longer distances. Apparently for SMGs though, the same mechanics applied in multiplayer, just in a more downscaled way prior to this update going live. But in multiplayer, where the maps are relatively compact, you're not going to necessarily feel the effects of these ballistic mechanics on a larger scale like you would say over in Blackout. That said, if you were to ever fire off into the nothingness that is the outskirts of Arsenal, you would probably notice that your bullets would drop off with an SMG in particular. Now though, Treyarch has actually changed the mechanics of SMGs to more so match a hit scan model of play. And in addition to this change, the same hit scan model has now also been applied to the pistols as well. So now, theoretically, when using a SOG or a Spitfire or any of the other SMGs and or pistols, you should notice a very minuscule increase in the time that it takes for your bullets to hit the enemies after you fire your weapon. But quite frankly, I feel like the only time you're really going to notice this change is if you're trying to map someone with an SMG, which, let's be real here, even if you are hitting a shot or two, you're not going to come anywhere close to actually taking out your opponent in any decent amount of time or bullets. So like I said, that was really the core change that this update was based around. However, there were a few other pretty hyped up changes made as well to some of the other weapons during the 1.19 update, including the Daemon, the Switchblade, the Ballistic Knife, and also the MOG 12. Now on the Daemon, they actually made it so that it will now take at least 6 bullets to finish off a target with full health, which is actually 1 more bullet than it previously took. Prior to the 1.19 update going live, the Daemon was actually a 5-hit kill at certain ranges, but now it will be a bare minimum 6-hit kill. However, seeing as the Daemon is a 3-round burst weapon, that doesn't really change the gun all that much, since obviously, if you do fire a second burst, you are going to be shooting and potentially hitting that 5th and 6th shot. So technically the gun can still be a 2-round burst. However, the situation in which that scenario is valid is pretty specific. There has to be no body armor or crash health in play, and you have to be within a certain range to not be affected by the damage drop-off. In addition to that, they also gave the Daemon a third extra magazine now, so while it does take one extra bullet to kill an enemy, you also do have more ammo, so there was actually a buff and a nerf to the Daemon in this update. However, I just don't personally think that the weapon is going to feel that much difference than it did for the last few weeks. Then, for the Switchblade, here we actually got a much more significant nerf to the weapon, which I would say is definitely justified because prior to the 1.19 patch, the Switchblade was an absolute melt machine with rapid fire 1 and 2 equipped on it, so this update will definitely alter how the gun feels for sure. That said, Treyarch ended up reducing the 6-shot kill range from 19 meters to 13 meters, the 7-shot kill range from 25 meters to 19 meters, and also the 8-shot kill range from 31 meters to 25 meters. So all around, it's going to take more and more bullets to kill now the further you are away from an enemy with the updated Switchblade. They also made a minor adjustment to the Ballistic Knife in this update, in which they addressed an issue preventing players from using dual wield and extra blades at the same time, so nothing really too crazy there. The weapon is still going to perform the same, but that issue is now resolved. And then finally, on the MOG 12, they actually made a change to the Dragon's Breath operator mod, aka
the dreaded fire shotgun.
Treyarch actually ended up reducing the damage to increase the bullets required for a one-shot kill at a long range on the Dragon's Breath mod in specific. So essentially with this update, you should now have a much harder time one-shotting enemies at greater distances while using the operator mod. However, I do feel like this update could kind of just be countered by still using long barrel and barrel choke, which does end up tightening the spread of the MOG's shots, making it much easier to get that one-hit kill. Either way though, honestly, any nerf to the fire shotgun I see as a good thing because, frankly, it is one of the most aggravating weapons to run into because it is basically impossible to counter at a close range. More often than not, SMGs simply cannot kill quick enough to even trade against the MOG 12 with the Dragon's Breath mod up close, and that means ARs are definitely out of the question as well. And frankly, the only true chance you do have at winning a gunfight within a few meters against a MOG 12 Dragon's Breath is either by hitting a lucky sniper shot or using a specialist like the Grav Slam or the Purifier to erase that enemy before they even have the chance to shoot. So personally, I'm pretty glad to see that the MOG 12 is on its way to being a bit more balanced. Overall though, I'm gonna be completely honest here, compared to what the devs were saying about this update prior to it going live, I did personally expect there to be a lot more buffs in the SMG category, specifically because Tony Flame did tweet out saying it's low-key Christmas Eve for SMG players, excited for tomorrow's update. And when I first saw this, I was honestly expecting some buffs to the Spitfire, the GKS, maybe the Cordite, and maybe even the SOG too. The Spitfire, I would say, is in a decent place. You know, it's not too strong, but it's also not too weak. However, if it were to actually be Christmas for SMG players, I would have assumed we'd see the Spitfire get a damage buff or something of that nature just to make it a tad bit better. I'd say the SOG is also in a decent spot too, but specifically for competitive play, it can still be outgunned by a Maddox in certain scenarios, so I didn't really think a buff would be too out of the question there. The GKS, I would say, is still absolute booty. It's a hit marker machine unless you are in hardcore, so once again, I definitely thought a buff would be coming there. And the Cordite to me still has a really slow ADS in speed, so I thought maybe we'd see a buff there as well. However, as we obviously covered in this video, none of those weapons were even touched outside of the hitscan updates, so I don't think I would necessarily refer to this update as Christmas Eve, or Christmas Day rather, but nonetheless, the SMGs should be able to compete a bit better now all across the board. With that being said though, that is going to effectively wrap things up for today. Definitely let me know your thoughts on these changes down in the comments below. Can you guys actually feel a difference with the SMGs? Not really. Is there something else that you think should have been changed instead? Drop your thoughts down below. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like rating on it as it would be much appreciated and it does really help out the channel. And if you are new here and you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, ranging from news to leaks to rumors and everything else in between, feel free to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. That way you'll always know when I upload a new video. As always, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down in the description below. And once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.